This video is all about configuring the necessary tools uh, which are required to implement a Lightning Web components, right? So first thing is we need a Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have a Visual Studio Code, you need to install the Visual Studio Code. It's a freeware available. We can just download it, and the next step is, so these are the steps that I've added here. Like the we need a CLI. Uh, CLI is basically helpful to uh, migrate the uh, components, whatever components that we are developing. We are not directly going to develop these into org. We are going to develop the components in our local repository or on our local mission, and we'll be pushing that to the destination org, which is it can be a sandbox or it can be a production, right? So for that we need a CLI. So like based on your operating system, and you can download one. For example, mine is a 64-bit Windows system, so I'll just go to this URL. I'll just show you that. So I'll just copy this URL, and uh, from here I can download the CLI. So once I have already downloaded it, so I'll just show you that how it looks like, right? So this is an exe file, and you just need to install it. For that you just need to double click and click the next button, and it, like, you'll get a series of windows with next buttons. You just need to click next button. It will install CLI, right? Once the CLI is installed, then the next step what you can do is, so you can just open your Visual Studio Code, and this is a tab where you can see the extensions. So you have to install one extension called Salesforce extension. So you just need to type here Salesforce extension pack. uh, Currently I've installed it, that's why I'm able to see here uninstall button. You just need to click install button, and this will install Salesforce extension pack. So once you're done with the installing Salesforce extension, then we are good to start. We're good to start writing LWC components. So before that, so I just told you that we have installed the CLI, right? So we need to confirm whether it is installed properly or not. So for that, what you can do is, here is a terminal. Just click on this terminal, click new terminal, or you just type here sfdx, and you'll see a list of here you will see the results here, right? So if you see this version, it is installed properly. That is why you are able to see this outcome, right? Now sfdx, because this exe file installation was successful. As a result, if you type here sfdx, you can type in the Visual Studio Code, or else in the command prompt also you can type here sfdx. So if you type here sfdx, you'll see here the version and other details. So this is how we'll make sure that the sfdx or CLI installation is done successfully, right? So the second step is, the next step is, you have to install a Java. So for installing Java, what you have to do is, you can just type here, uh, like, the latest version of Java is JDK 11, or you can also install either JDK 8 or JDK 11. So JDK 1.8, you can also install this. Java, now the Java, earlier Java was owned by Sun Microsystems. Now it is, uh, now this Java is part of Oracle. So, and recently what Oracle people did was, like, you cannot download uh, the Java directly, you have to have an account, or you have to create a free account in the Oracle website. So for example, if you'll see here the list of JDK JDK exe files to download, right? So mine is Windows 64-bit system, so I can just click on this one. uh, if, after clicking this checkbox, and if you click download, I've already registered. I have already registered here into Oracle. So it will just ask me the username, password, my username, and I'm just providing my password. So once you if you don't have an Oracle account, you have to create a new account, and from there you can able to download the Java software, right? So now I'm able to download the Java. So I already have this installed in my machine. So this is how you will get an exe file. So again, you have the same way what we did for CLI, the same way. You just need to double click, and then you'll see a list of windows with the next buttons. You can just install it. Once the installation is done, so what you can do is, again, you can just go to your terminal in the Visual Studio Code. So you can just type here java java or Java C. You will see here the list of different suggestions, right? So in this way we will make sure that Java is installed properly. So sometimes if you type here, you'll get as Java C is not recognized as an internal or external command, right? So how we have to solve is, we have to create a path for that. So either you can type this Java C in the Visual Studio Code, or else you on the command prompt also you can type here Java C. So now, so the Java installation is done successfully, and also the path is correctly uh, it is set correctly. That's why it is working without any issues. So in case if you see any message as Java C is not recognized, it means that path is not properly configured. So for that, what you have to do is, mine is Windows 10. So I just need to click the window button and type PC here, and right click, go to properties. This is how we are going to set the path. Go to advanced settings, and you'll see here environment variables. So there are two sections here, either user variables and system variables. So what I did was, like, I just added this in the user variables. You can also add it in the system variables. So what we have to add here is, like, once you install Java, so for, like, you can choose the path where you want to keep the necessary files for the Java software, right? So currently it is available in this folder for me. So there are two folders like JDK JRE. Go to JDK, and you have to go to bin. So copy this entire URL, and go back to the environment variables. So for example, if you want to add into user variables, just click on this, and you can just click new, and then you can add it here like this. So I already added here, so I don't need it one more time. I'm just canceling it. So once you are done with it, you can just click OK, and then here also you can click OK. So this is how you will set path. So some, like, when sometimes what happens, when you are installing the Java, it automatically uh, populate the path value in the environment variables. If not, you have to add it like that, as shown in the previous, right? So once Java is available, so what we did was, like, we have Visual Studio Code available. First step what we did is, we have installed CLI. So for installing CLI, it is again based on the operating system, and the number of bits that you have. So these are the different URLs that are available. Once the installation is completed, CLI, then second step what I did was, in the Visual Studio Code, I have added extension called Salesforce Extension Pack. Once that is done, I just verified whether SFDX is installed properly or not. For that, in the terminal, so this is how you'll see the terminal. Click new terminal, and you just type here sfdx. You can either verify using the Visual Studio Code, or else you can also verify whether the CLI is installed properly or not using your command prompt. So here also you can type here, right? So in the both the places you can see the results. So I'm just going to use the Visual Studio Code, so I just validated here itself, and it installed successfully. The next step what I did was, like, we need Java as well, right? So for that I have installed Java. And uh, and uh, in case if you see if there is any error messages like Java C is not recognized, or you can also type here Java and click enter button to check whether Java is installed or not. If it is not, uh, even after installation, sometimes path will not be configured properly, so you have to configure it in the system variables. And you can just type here Java C, and if you see these type of suggestions here or commands, then it means that Java also installed properly. Now we are good to start implementing our LWC component, right? So for that what we have for that what we have to do is, like, um, so first thing is, like, we need to create a project. So to create a project, so in Visual Studio Code there are two ways how you will uh, write the commands to create lightning components and to migrate from one place to another place. The first approach is either you can just click terminal, and here in the command prompt, here you can type the full command sfdx, and whatever command it is you can type here. This is one way of writing a command and implementing LWC component. The other alternative or a simple way is, like, you can just click shift control and P, and this is how you will see suggestion box, you can say, right? Here you'll have a predefined commands. You can just select, and it automatically frames a command for us, so we don't need to remember and we don't need to write the complete command in the terminal. So this is the simplest way. So most of the developers, I think, will follow this approach, right? Click control. I'm into Windows machine, so I'll click like shift control P. And so the first step is I need to create a project. If you are not aware what is project, it is like a folder. It is just a folder. So what happens in the LWC implementation is, we cannot directly write our components in the org. So what we have to do, we have to create our components in the local machine, and we have to deploy it to a sandbox or production, whatever environment we want to migrate, right? So for that what we have to do is, so we have to create a folder in our local machine. So you can call it as a like, we are going to do with the commands. So so it is called as a project. It is similar if you are aware of what is git. It is something similar to git, right? So I'll just type here sfdx. So first step I have to do is create a project. So before doing that, what I did was I just created one folder on the desktop. So going forward, like, whatever sales LWC programs I am implementing, I'll keep that into this folder. So for that I just created a folder here, and inside this folder, now we are going to create a project. So if you're wondering what is project, if you see here, it is again collection of files and folder. So so project is again collection of files and folders, but it operates in a different way, right? So I'll just create a project here. What I'll do is sfdx. Just type sfdx here, you'll see kind of recommendations here. So you can just scroll up or scroll down and select this particular one. Click on, you just need to click, and uh, using upper arrow and down arrow, you can navigate to particular command which you are looking for. Let's say currently I'm planning to create a new project, brand new project. So select I just navigated to create project, uh, create project command, and click enter. So once you click that, it will ask you whether you want to what type of folder you want to create. Like I'll just select with the standard project template. So I don't have any other any specific template, so I'm just opting for the standard template. So just select standard template. So it is asking your project name. So what is your project name? So I'll say that learning basics, learning underscore basics. So basics of LWC. So click enter again. So this is how it will ask. So I want to store into this SFDX learning folder itself. So I'm just planning to create my project into this folder. So click create project. So if you can see here, so it is creating a project. So where it will create, it will create here. So this is my desktop and this is my folder. So here it created a project. So let me check whether it is finished or not. So it is completed successfully, and you can also see, here, uh, so this automatically navigated to this particular folder, whatever new project we have created into that particular project. The Visual Studio Code is also updated, right? So to check whether Visual Studio Code is into the new project or not, you can just type, can click the terminal here, and if you see the terminal path, so it is migrated to this newly created project. So learning basics is what we created right now, right? So I'll just go back to this. So this is what we created. So to this particular path, automatically after creating the new project, it navigated. So we are just making sure whether it's navigated or not. So this is how, like, you'll just click here terminal, new terminal, and you can see that it is navigated to, currently the cursor is into this particular project. So we are good with this, right? So now, so there are multiple folders. I think we can see later uh, the benefits of each folder and all, right? So the first thing that we need to understand here is, like, if you are aware of retrieving the metadata components using metadata if you are not aware what is metadata, it's all about, like, if you're writing class or table in Salesforce, it is considered as a metadata, and the records in a table is considered as a data. So uh, metadata will be available in this Force app. So you will see here Force app, and you can see here different metadata files are auto created. So by default it is blank, but when you start creating new components, automatically it will come into this particular folders. So we'll see, like, we are now we're we're going to create LWC. Currently there is like two default uh, uh, components are available, and we'll see like how to create a new LWC component, and how how to pass into this particular environment, right? We'll see that. So I don't want to manually type my commands to create any LWC component, or to migrate to a destination org. So what I'll do is, like, I'll make use of this auto suggestion box, which is by clicking Shift Control P. So here we already have a project, and currently the cursor is also into the newly created project. So the next step what we have to do is, we were planning to create a lightning component, right? Use your up arrow and down arrow to navigate to the correct command. So now I'm going to create a lightning web component. So I navigated to this particular thing and click enter here. So once you're done with that, it is asking the name of your first component. So I want to name it as, let's say, demo demo component. So once you are done with giving your component name, just click enter. Then it is asking, like, I told, like, we are creating a component, right? So I told you all these components, all the metadata will come will fall under any one of this folder. So it is asking, do you want to continue with the LWC folder, or do you want to change to some other folder? So, right, so let me call it as demo program, demo LWC. click enter. So now I want to continue with the default folder, so which is LWC folder, right? So why I'm just continuing with the default folder, because when we are trying to migrate, it takes care of migration also, right? So better we follow always this structure, like if you are creating a class, keep that class into this particular classes folder only. Don't keep that into RF folder. So if you are aware of package.xml file and how we retrieve the metadata components using ant or workbench and how we are migrating, so the same concept here also, but here it is bit more simplified. All right. So I like, once I am done with this, like if I go back and check into this, so I can see there are three different default files which are created. So by default these files are also populated with some content, right? So for example, the first one is the HTML file. So this is what all about, what you want to display on the screen. uh, the the UI related things will be written in the template, in the HTML file. And JavaScript is all about if you want to uh, do client side validations or uh, client side data auto populations, we can do that using JavaScript file, right? And then this meta file will decide whether your this component should be available on which page. Like let's say if I'm creating a lightning web component, I can use that component in multiple places. It can be on the record page or home page or app page, and I can also utilize that in a community. So if you want to um, make this component available, then first thing is like is exposed. So is exposed should be true. We have to mark this is exposed should be true. And we have to uh, pass some other parameters as well. Like if we want to make this component should be available on the record page, then there is a syntax for this. So we'll just write a simple component. So what I'll do is I'll just copy the content from uh, the trial head. I'll just try to explain from there. Okay. So this, let's say I have um, this is my first component, right? I'll just copy this template. So I'll just paste it here. So from this, what all is there is what we need to understand thoroughly, right? So first what I'll do is, for example, I'll just log into um, one of my sandboxes. I'm just logging into one of my uh, uh, environment, one of my org, right? So I just logged in here. So let me go to lightning view. So I'll just try to explain what exactly this is. So I'm into the Salesforce org. I'm just going to account tab. I'm into account tab now. Let me open one record here. All accounts. So if you see this, so this is considered as a lightning card. So this part is implemented using lightning card. And you see here account, so this is called as a title. And you see here there is a icon, this is called as icon name. So the same thing here we are doing. First is lightning card. So inside in this lightning card, you see there are some fields involved here, like some fields are added here, right? So this entire part is called as lightning card. So this is lightning card. And title, you can give any name here. So here they have given as account, you can give any name here. And icon name currently they have given as this particular value. So how we will know, like what is this custom colon custom 14, right? So if you're want, like, this is what uh this symbol syntax is this one, right? How we will know that? So just go to lightning design system icons, just type here lightning design system icons, go to this particular website. This is a Salesforce standard Salesforce website, right? So here, like, let me go back to the code. So icon name is the attribute, value into this is custom colon custom 14, right? So the icon names, these are all the icon names available, so you can just click here custom. So custom 14, this is custom 14. So this is how you will take the icons. The first is, this is, you can consider this as a, this is categories. Category name is what? Custom colon category colon the name of the particular element. Custom 14 is referring to this particular icon. So this is how they have given this first line. So first line is, we understand what is lightning card. So this is lightning card, and the lightning card title we have given, and the icon name is also done, right? So lightning component is, lightning card is done. So next is the lightning input. So for example, if you don't like, most of us like will not remember the syntaxes, right? So the better way is, we have to check the existing library. So after force.com, just type here component refer component reference /suit.app. If you go to this particular website, so this is where you will see all the standard elements. So this we call it as base components. So these are called as base components. You see here lightning web components and aura. So under lightning, so currently we are looking for input. So how to, so these are the different base components available for input. So let me go to input, and here is the documentation. So here you will get all different types of inputs available. So what I mean different type is, like, some input labels we use it for uh, text, and some we can use it for number, to capture the, or to take the input from the user. We can have a number field or a percentage field, so, or a checkbox, right? So all these details will be available here. So the syntax here is, like, let's say the base components syntax is, if there are two words, the two words are differentiated using hyphen, right? Lightning hyphen input, and label name you can give name like this. So let me remove this again. I will go back to Salesforce org. So this is our Salesforce org, right? So we'll see what we are developing, and then we will push this to um, one of our org to see the outcome, right? Or output. So all accounts input. If I click edit or new component, so you see here phone, and this is a text box, right? So this is what label is all about. And value, so whatever value that we are entering here, we want to auto populate after this particular text, which is after hello, you want to auto populate. So that is why we have written, we are just capturing, and this captured value will be automatically available to this particular place on change. So on change, whatever we are just using on change event, on change this value will be auto populated into this particular variable. And this variable, wherever you refer this variable, this variable uh, will also capture the new value. So on change is a event, and change handler is kind of a method. So this method is available in JavaScript. So I'll go to JavaScript. So now currently this JavaScript file is with some default content, right? So I'll add the rest of the content. So I'll go back to the JavaScript file. So let me copy this, paste this. You see this. So we'll talk about this these first two statements in the in the future, but now just try to understand it. Just in the JavaScript also, just like an Apex class, we are also creating a class, and we are extending another class, right? So this is what we are trying to extend, and it has some default features available that we are trying to utilize into this class. So greetings is a variable which we created, which we are going to use that in the HTML page, right? And change handler, as I explained earlier, this is a method, so you can see that method here. And event is a event, like whenever we are changing something, automatically this will capture you instead of uh, okay. And we are just trying to pass here this value target event dot target dot value. So this is, you can consider this as a static syntax. So we are just trying to pass into this particular variable. So so that is what we are doing into this HTML file and JavaScript file. And the next is this one, which is uh, our metadata file. As I explained this, each export should be true so that this component will be available. And what we are mentioning here is the target is this, meaning this will be available in these three different pages for time being, right? So if you change something, whether it is saved or not, how you will come to know? Here you will see this, uh, you can observe this file. Here it is a dot symbol is there, right? It means that there is some changes, it's not saved successfully. You can just click Ctrl S, which will save this. Now we are done with the simple lightning web component. So the next step is we need to deploy this to our destination org. So what you can do is like, here you have LWC folder, right? Here you can right click, and from here also you, like, you don't need to write any command again to deploy this to our destination org. So what we can do is we can just deploy this also with simple clicks. So how we can do is, so currently if I click here, I don't see any option to, there is no option to deploy this component, right? This is because uh, we have created a project here, right? We have created a project, and so this is how, this is what we created, right? This is learning basics of LWC, this project we have created. um, and we have in the force app, so this is where our all metadata will be available. So our LWC component is also created, but um, I have not synced this particular project with any of our org. I have not synced with this with any org, right? So how we are going to sync that? So for that, what you have to do, again click Control Shift P. So here you will see authorize an org. You'll see this option, right? Click, just click enter button. So here you will see different URLs. It's a production or sandbox, or you want to have pass here a custom domain, sorry, custom URL. So for example, sometimes what happens when you're creating my domain, some administrators will block to login from the standard URL, which is login.salesforce.com or test.salesforce.com. So that is where you'll pass your custom URL, like you'll be having a specific domain name for your org, so you'll be passing that specific name here. But now I'm going to work with a developer org, so which is always, URL is always like login.salesforce.com. So I'll just go with the default URL. So I'm just clicking, I've just selected the appropriate, you have to select your appropriate option, and you have to click enter. So once you're done with that, so you want to give any name to that particular org, like you want to give any name. So I'm just going with the default name, which is VS Code org. So click again enter one more time, then it will ask you for authentication, right? So I think it's processing. It will show you a Salesforce window where you can pass your credentials. In that way, we're going to make sure that our local repository is going to sync with the Salesforce environment. So I have my credentials here. So this is my credentials. I'm just passing it. I have already passed it here, so I'm just clicking next button, sorry, login button. So once you click login, it means that you are you're giving permission to sync this local environment or local repository with the Salesforce environment. Now, now these two are in sync. So now what we will do is we will try to migrate this. So still it is in progress. So once this is done, we'll migrate this. So meanwhile, I'll just pause this video. Now this authentication is successful, and we can also see that it is logged into the Salesforce environment, right? So the next step is like, now if you either in the, like as I mentioned earlier, all our LWC components or whatever metadata that will be available in this particular folder, right? So in this particular from here, like force app main default, here all our metadata components will be there. So what I can do, I can right click here, and I now I can see here deploy to source org. This option is there. Previously this was not there because I have not authorized our local environment with the with our Salesforce environment, right? So or else that's why we are able to see this option now. Now we have authenticated successfully, we are able to see this option, right? So either you can right click here and you can see this option and you can click the deploy button here, or else on the LWC you can right click and you can also click the deploy to source org. So I'm just trying to click here and trying to deploy this component. So demo LWC, right? This is what you're trying to deploy. So let's this command execute and we'll see the results once this is deployed. Yeah, this is deployed successfully, and we can also see that what are all deployed. Like these are the three different files, right? Three different files which is deployed to our destination org. So this is our destination. Where is our destination? This is our destination org. So it is deployed. So let me go to account page, or let's say now this component we can place on any object, because we have an option of in the metadata XML file. Let me go back here in the, if you see the metadata XML file, our targets can be any of these, right? So now I have a option of placing this component into a record page. Record page can be account, contact, irrespective of object, right? So this is one of the object I have. So let me go to contact and I'll place it here, right? So how I'll place it, click click this is wrench symbol, click on this wrench symbol and click on edit page. So you'll see now in this particular app builder page, we can able to see the lightning component. So what is a component name? A component name is demo LWC, right? So in the search components, I'll just type here demo LWC. Now we are able to see this demo LWC. If this is exposed is false, then we cannot able to see. And this record page option is not, if it is not there also, we cannot able to see this. So these two are there, that is why we are able to see on the record page. So let me take this. I want to keep this into detail page. So I want to keep this component into detail page, right? What I'll do, I'll just drag and drop it here. I just I dropped here, and let me save this. And so it is asking for activation, so we're just activating it as well. So this is assigned as our default for both for desktop and phone. Let me click next and save this. So this now this component is placed in the contact detail page, and we have activated as well, right? So the next thing is you just click back here. This component is successfully placed on the contact record detail page. So if you go to contact record detail page, you can see this component. So currently Wold is written, that's why it is populated here. So if I just remove this and if I type some hi, something like this, it is auto populating here. That is what we call it as wiring. So you can see that here in the That is, we hear value on change. On change, what we are trying to paste into this value into greeting is kind of a variable. We are trying to pass the changed value into this greeting. How we are passing this is through on change method. So on change, this is a method. If you go to your javascript controller, we are passing here even target value is something like whatever you typing here. This is target value. We are passing into greetings variable, and this wherever this greeting variable is referred, it will auto populate here. For example, here after this hello, we have added this variable which is lwc, sorry, greeting. That's why it is auto populating. So that's all about installing or configuring setup for implementing LWC components. And this is our first example, and we will try to come up with the next module in the next video. uh, by the time, if you have any feedback, you can comment, put in the comments. And I'll also update this uh, notepad steps into a github link, and I'll paste it in the description. Thank you.